Hey everyone, my name is Jordan from Fish Keeping Made Easy, and today we're going to talk about our top 10 nano fish. So before we start, it's just a brief idea of what a nano tank is in this context. So it's anything from 20-ish litres to about 50-60 litres, or 5 to 15 gallons. Obviously some people will say anything under 100 litres is a nano tank, but yeah, we're just going to go with that just now. So nano tanks still need the same equipment as normal tanks. In fact, nano tanks can be a lot more difficult to keep due to the small volumes of water there is. There's not as much room for error, and fluctuations in parameters often happen. So normal weekly water changes and maintenance needs to be done. No unheated, unfiltered bowls. Personally, I find a heavily planted nano tank can really help. Lots of moss, Boos, Anubias, floating plants, stem plants, all this helps just to slowly filter out stuff and gives you that little extra edge. And also it looks really good. So the first fish on our list we're going to discuss today is the Chile Razz Bota, aka the mosquito Razz Bota. Now, the exclamation point Razz Bota and some of these other small Razz Botas have more or less the same care. They all only grow to about 2 to 3 centimetres. Now, the Chile Razz Bota has an amazing red colour, and that's why a lot of people have them for these nanoscapes. So they do amazing contrast between the heavily planted tanks, loads of roots and wood and shaded places, really make them feel safe. They actually prefer softer water. They do come from black water streams, so they're actually an excellent choice for a black water setup. However, I would say a longer nano tank is probably best, as they're very active. So more of a sort of 30-40 litre long, or sort of 10 to 12 gallon long. I would also recommend more than 6, so 6 at the minimum, but I would take 10, 12, 15, 20, whatever you can fit, as the more you have, the larger the groups, the more they feel safe, the more natural behaviours you get, and you'll actually probably get some spawning. So in terms of diet, they're micro predators, so baby brine shrimp, baby daphnia, anything small that can fit in their mouths. So they still like frozen cyclops, crushed flakes, they'll basically eat anything. So the key with these fish really is you can have a lot of them as long as you don't overfeed them. So they don't really need fed every single day, maybe 5 days a week or every other day, and you'll not have any issues with water quality. I would also say that they're shrimp safe. I've kept them with shrimp and they didn't even eat the shrimplets, so perfect fish for a nano tank. So the next fish on our list is the Galaxy Razz Bota, or by its cooler name, the Celestial Pearl Danio. Now these fish have become very popular lately, with a lot of big aquascapers using them, and because of this, the price has risen. I guess it's because of their cool pattern and the fact that they're only 2 to 3 centimetres in length, makes them ideal for these kind of scapes. Now, like the other Razz Botas, they love heavily planted tanks. However, I will recommend to have a lot more than just 6, because the males are very aggressive, so bigger numbers help to reduce that aggression. Again, they're micro predators, so baby brine shrimp, daphnia, anything small, they'll eat it. So the next fish on the list is the betta fish. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about the bettas because I've already done a video on betta care, so if you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the bio, but definitely bettas are a great fish for a nano tank. So if you're looking for a larger fish to keep in your nano tank, but you don't want a betta, or you've already got a betta, then the honey grammy might just be perfect for you. Unlike the dwarf grammy, these fish are much more friendlier. Their colours are a nice red, orange, yellow, which is why they're often referred to as sunset grammies. So they can be kept in singles, pairs, or in groups. So a single and a pair can be kept in 30-40 litres or 10 to 12 gallons, and any larger groups will need to be kept in more or less double that. You can also keep them with some of the smaller fish that we mention on this list, which is also really great. Again, they love a heavily planted tank with plenty of hiding spaces, that will be appreciated. In terms of feeding, they are not fussy at all and will literally eat anything. So they're very hardy, will eat anything, perfect fish for a nano tank. So we're back to the Razz Botas again. The next fish on our list is the neon green Razz Bota. It's exactly the same care as all the other Razz Botas, so I'm not going to bore you with that. The only difference with these is they're an amazing green colour, and to be fair, green coloured fish aren't the most common fish about, so they're very good, very cool, definitely recommend. So the next fish on our list is everyone's favourite oddball, the PIPA Fur. Now they're full of character, very inquisitive, and also very cute. Now the recommendation with these is like 40 litres for one, that they're very aggressive, need to be kept alone, and they can't be kept with any other fish. Now personally, I keep one in a 20-litre tank with some exclamation point Razz Botas, and they're doing great. A nice heavily planted tank with loads of areas to adventure in, because these fish are very intelligent and they can get bored really easily. They love live food such as snails, bloodworms, and they actually don't have a beak, so snails aren't essential, but they're very good for basically just getting them out, getting them active, and for something to do. The only downside to these fish is the majority of them are actually live caught, and due to overfishing it's actually affecting their numbers in the wild, so that's kind of a shame. So if you can get wild caught ones, that's fair enough, but if you can get captive bred ones, then obviously that kind of helps everyone out there. If you're looking for a top dwelling fish, then the rocket pan shacks, aka the clown killifish, might be the fish for you. As you can see from the photo, they just look like tiny little rocket ships, and they only grow to about 3 to 3.5 centimeters, so they're perfect for a nano tank. These fish come from slow moving streams, so a reduced flow in your filter is needed, along with a lot of floating plants. They can basically eat anything. Again, they're just little micro predators, crushed pellets, live baby brine shrimp, all that kind of stuff. They're also actually quite easy to breed as well, so if you get a nice mixture of males and females, then you could have yourself a little colony. I would also recommend you either keep the water level slightly lower or you put a lid on, because they can jump. So from top dwelling fish we move on to bottom dwelling fish, and I bring you the pygmy cory. Now the pygmy cory might just be the ultimate nano fish, as this fish is super hardy, can live with any other fish. As long as there's a sandy bottom and they can't damage their barbs, it's perfectly fine. I would recommend these for anybody having a large group of them. They can even breed. Yeah, there's nothing else really to say about them. They're perfect. The next fish on the list might just be one of my favourites, and that's the Scarlet Baddest. Now, only 2 centimeters long, this thing is like a tiny little cichlid. However, they're not the easiest fish to keep. They're quite sensitive to water quality, they're quite shy and intimidated by other fish, and the males are quite territorial and females are actually very difficult to come across. But the hardest part about keeping them is how difficult they are to feed. Now, they don't accept flake and they're very fussy. It's best to buy them with evidence of what they're actually eating in the shop, but I would suggest live baby brine shrimp, live baby daphnia, frozen cyclops, and really small bloodworms or something. Also, those little plankton packets from JBL work very well too. So they're very interesting to watch, they're very intriguing, but they're just slightly difficult to keep. Now, the last fish on our list is the Endler guppy. Now, these fish are a little bit smaller than the normal guppy, which makes them more perfectly suited for a nano setup. Females are slightly larger than males, but remember, if you're going to keep males and females together in a nano tank, you're going to end up with a lot of fish, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you have another tank to put the fry into. So it's best just to have males unless you have a larger tank. If you do go with males and females, I would suggest a 2:1 or 3:1 ratio of females to males. Now, the most important thing about guppies is probably their diet. Now, they're omnivores, but they need some algae wafers, spirulina, and some fresh vegetables, along with some frozen food. But the best thing to normally do is to get an actual guppy food. This will give them a nice mixture, and if you're adding in the frozen food and the vegetables and the algae wafers here and there, they should get a really great colour on them. And that's our video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe for more and follow us on Instagram at FishkeepingMadeEasy. I would like to thank everyone on Instagram who sent us in pictures to use for this video. I've left the link to their accounts in the description box below. Thank you.